Yes, hello, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak here. I am from a company, Premex, and we're a company that's developed a better concrete. Here I want to share with you a few cartoons from the famous American cartoonist Gary Larson. And there's one on the left-hand side. It's about a dog. And that dog apparently beat the Godfather, maybe in Chicago, maybe in Moscow, I don't know. And then the poor dog is being thrown into the water. And you can see the dog has concrete shoes on him. And how do you see that these shoes are concrete shoes? It's because he drew a little crack here, right? Little crack here, little crack here, and then you immediately recognize this is concrete, right? So the dog has concrete shoes, is bitten in, okay, the joke, he's able to make his joke. Or here's another one, right? So they apparently put into a concrete, I don't know, grandfather or somebody. And how do you know that this is concrete? Well, again, you know, Gary Larson, he drew a little crack here, a little crack here, a little crack here. So you immediately recognize that's concrete, right? So this is how the world understands that a material is concrete. It's cracked. What we want to do in our company is we want to change the world's view on concrete. We have developed a method, a technology, an approach that allows us to produce concrete right now that cracks up to 90% less than a normal concrete. In many occasions, we are able to produce completely crack-free concrete solutions. And that leads us to several major advantages, which I'll try to share with you. Because less cracks, in essence, means that the strength of the material is much higher. Because how a material fails, it's always where the crack is, right? Where it's uncracked, it's strong. So once you take the cracks away, you improve very significantly the strength of the material, which is exactly what we are doing. So once we have a higher strength, of course, we can have the material thinner, right? Because it has much higher load-bearing capacity. If it is thinner, of course, it's cheaper to produce. So this method is really advantageous from economic point of view because through reduced cross-section, you can make more money producing the same thicknesses of the concrete. And it's a higher quality product because, frankly, he needs to draw these cracks, but the cracks are not nice and not beautiful. Not only not nice and beautiful, they are a nuisance and a problem in many industrial applications where you have to drive on the floor and then this crack deteriorates. It's a major problem within the industry. This is a green fund. This technology is very green, and it's very green because you can reduce the cross-section of the concrete. The concrete production in the world is, I think, one of the top 2 biggest industrial polluters of CO2 emissions. And that is because to produce concrete you need cement, but cement is produced by baking limestone, and this baking process involves baking in an oven for a quite long time at pretty high temperatures. So to produce 1 ton of cement, they need to emit out 1 ton of CO2 emissions. Now, we are able to cut the cross-sections of the concrete elements up to 40%, which means that we are saving very, very significant amounts of the CO2 emissions. We've seen that in jobs that we've done, we've cut up to 1,000 tons of CO2 emissions per single facility that we've built. And over the lifetime, it's tens of thousands of tons that our company alone has saved from CO2 emissions. If we are able to scale this globally, the emissions savings can be enormous because the concrete happens to be the most popular building material. Huge emissions, we can cut on cross-sections, very big environmental impact. Significant improvement on logistics buildings. I shared with you the issue of the cracks. There's also issue of joints that they are forced to install in normal traditional concrete floors. Really bad for the wheels, really bad for all kinds of damages on industrial buildings. This technology significantly improves it. So we are able right now to sell this to the top blue chip customers in the industry. The biggest logistics warehouse developer, Prologis, only buys from us in north of Europe, IKEA, many other really good blue chip customers. I'll share a little bit how we are making this. So we use 3 pillars, special chemicals that we add inside the concrete that we hopefully can produce maybe in Tatarstan, which produce anti-shrinkage quality concrete. We use a lot of steel fibers, and very importantly, we use industry-leading prime quality system for quality management. So first is, well, we have no cracks. Then we add a lot of steel fibers inside, which are little pieces of corrugated steel, maybe 5 centimeters long. So it's a composite material at the end. They give us a lot of strength. And then we use a very good industry-leading, we're the only ones in the industry doing this, very helpful for us, also a big research effort. You see the gentleman here is holding an iPad. So we have iPads given out to workers on the job site. We control more than 20 variables. This control room is an exaggeration. I took it from NASA. But we have something very, very small also in our in Riga office. Okay, maybe it's a computer screen in reality. So this looked more impressive, so I took it. And we give out access to customers so he can see exactly what's happening on the job site. I think this is a big revolution for the way how the job sites are managed. First time in wherever I've seen, there's a proper management tool for the job sites, how to manage them in a really good and professional way. Very transparent tool towards the end user. Very, very helpful. Customers love it, and it improves our quality. And we gather a lot of data, which feeds into a huge data pool for our R&D unit. We have a very serious R&D unit, and we are gathering a lot of data, running the data through it. This is the biggest scientific effort as well on the concrete that is run right now. I don't know what's going to be more valuable, the fees that we generate or the data at the end of the day, because nobody is able to gather data like this at the moment, and it's going to be very interesting. We are ourselves a contracting company. We're based in Riga in Latvia, and we operate as contractors across north of Europe. Our main markets are Scandinavia, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, also the Baltic countries, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. There we build the floors ourselves, and then we license this technology worldwide. We have a very successful licensee in Belarus, in Holland. We just started a joint venture in the United States. The first application, first floor is coming down in Chicago area in 2 weeks' time. It's going very, very rapidly right now. We have a lot of interest from all over the world. First shipment going down to South Africa. Like Israel is a big customer right now for us. So very, very good success expanding. This technology can be used in floor building, like this is maybe a typical machinized operation what we use, and this is maybe a typical floor that we are doing. But also we can build raft foundations, foundation types under houses. This is something we practically built back home in Riga. We can build suspended slabs, and you notice there is no reinforcement mesh, very, very labor-saving, time-saving, time-consuming. We have so it can expand very widely. We are already working on expanding it beyond the floors. Like I mentioned, we have blue chip customers. Volvo just is a repeated customer for us in Gothenburg. Just finished the new assembly line for the XC90 Volvo series. We've done all the IKEA floors in the Scandinavian market for the last 3 years, maybe 8, 9 stores, I don't know. We've done a lot for the Prologis, logistic contractor, Schenker, John Deere, Skanska, Bauhaus. Many, many leading companies are using this technology, getting very, very popular, and we just want to expand now this worldwide because we see this as the biggest revolution, biggest chance to improve the construction technology, concrete technology business that there is right now. We are twice winner of the most innovative product at the biggest show that there is on the concrete. It's called World of Concrete at the Las Vegas. We won it last year, once more this year with a different sub-product of ours. So this has been twice recognized by the leading show in the industry as the most innovative product, most innovative approach. Blue chip customers, very good income stream, both from own contracting, from licensing. So we believe that this is a huge growth opportunity in a very significant, important, big market, very established, and looking forward to scale it up. Thank you very much.
So while he's still standing, we're all sitting comfortable. We have you're supposed to now shine, my dear Investment Advisory Council member, with your smart questions.
Thank you very much. Could you maybe comment on what differentiates your technology from other MDF cements, and to what degree the intellectual property is protected?
So we have written a patent on a process. At this point, we have written a patent. It's applied for worldwide. It's granted at the WIPO, and in some countries. In some countries, it's pending very shortly. And we believe the patent is successful. We had the first skirmish with a multinational. They backed off. So let's see. For the moment, we think the patent is very well written. One of the authors of the patent is a co-owner of the company, a partner in the company, a person called Xavier Destre. He's, I think, one of the foremost experts on concrete worldwide, and also a successful author of a patent in the 1980s that related to a very similar flooring application. It's expired by now, but it was a very successful patent with multi-billion revenues, and also he was able to defend it against another multinational that attacked it very successfully through many instances. So, and he participated actually in writing our patent, so we believe it's written in a good way, and so we can protect ourselves. And secondly, we are protecting ourselves through a unique approach. You see, in the overall construction industry is very backward, in that to produce a house you need maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 independent companies, and nobody brings the system together. Let's say you want to order industrial floor as a customer, so then you go and to an architect, and he makes a kind of a theoretical drawing how your house looks like. Then you go to an engineering company. That's a separate unit, separate independent company. He makes engineering calculations. Then you go to general contractor, which is another company which calculates how much it would cost and takes in the money and distributes, who orders from a subcontractor, who orders a concrete from a concrete plant, and another independent company, which is a technical supervisor that overlooks all of this process. And then, you know, it's like 8 different companies, each running his own way. Nobody really thinking about how to pull together the process, the material, the engineering into one unit. It's like trying to produce a car at a Toyota or a Kamaz facility by 8 independent subcontractors. It's never going to work. And that's why we see that the construction industry is so often such a failure in terms of cost, in terms of quality, and in terms of not being able to pull this together. Now, what we've done is we've created a system through the prime quality system, through our approach, that we are taking a kind of we are uniting the whole of this thing in one way. That's a very unique approach. Nobody else is doing this at the moment. Nobody is by far so advanced like where we are with the quality management system and the engineering approach and everything. So we also have a time lag before somebody else will kind of start to follow us. I'm sure they will one day. They'll follow us, but not at the moment. So we have some years ahead of everybody.
Just a quick one. Your slides implied that your customers were people like IKEA.
Yes.
It would seem to me that you would need to have the big builders as your customers.
Yes, yes. You are very right. I mean, also the slide here, if you look back. So, yes, you are very right. Actually, our customer is a general contractor, but we use it in IKEA floors. In IKEA case, general contractor is Peab, and Peab belongs to IKEA. So kinda, it's IKEA in a way. But we put up IKEA because people recognize it much more than the general contractor. But you are very right. Our direct customer, most of the cases, almost always, is general contractor. But what we are doing is we are going to people like IKEA. We're going to people like Prologis, which has maybe 14 million square meters of warehousing space worldwide. And we tell them, look, you know, we can build you a consistent quality that you can rely on. And then IKEA is very happy to hear that, so we built all floors in Scandinavia. Last week they invited us to Kuala Lumpur. There's a new IKEA shop coming up, and they want that we are bidding on the floor because they're not so sure that they locally can find something reliable. They brought us over to Israel because they were not sure that they can bring us, find something reliable there. Prologis, you know, we built all floors for them in Scandinavia. 2 weeks ago, there was a big Prologis meeting. They invited me to Jönköping to present for other Prologis owners of the area how we did the floor there, which is of fabulous quality and very good for Prologis. So, but at the end of the day, we will have to go via general contractor, yes. Okay. Or actually, our customer is going to be a flooring contractor because we're going to give a license. And but we kind of pull the system together. Okay, Matthias has a question? Yeah, thank you.
Well, absolutely fascinating. And usually technology people think about Skype and Spotify and these things, but I think these things are extremely interesting. Just one question, because that looks wonderful, but can you give us some insight into sales? You know, you spoke about revenues. Mm-hmm. I guess you still invest in technology and the process stuff, but on the current operational business, how look the figures, just to get a feeling?
Yeah, so we are selling at something like 20 plus million euros per year right now. We've invested all through the last years heavily to develop the prime quality system, to develop the whole system. Everything, and to develop the licensing unit, to develop a joint venture in the United States. But we are a bit positive, absolutely, without a question. Good numbers, and this year, for the first half of the year, we had record sales in our contracting division and licensing division too. I think the first half of the year, we are running at something like 70% more, but that's misleading for the total year because the first half year is typically weak. So, I mean, 70% is not really 70%, but still what I want to imply that we have very good order book. So also for the total year, we're going to grow good. And also we've started the licensing thing. We have very successful person in Belarus, for instance. If we speak about the CIS countries, he's doing a very good job there. So we are completely convinced we can do also a very good job in Russia, because in Belarus we are totally successful. We've gotten for the licensing projects very good things coming up now. So we sold a license for Belgium, Holland, and the gentleman just sold a huge Google data center, and Google really like this technology. This is another thing, how this is environmentally friendly or human friendly. You know, you typically have, when you build concrete floors, you have to use wire mesh that you put on the floor, right? So there's like wires, 10 millimeters each by 200 millimeters, right? Okay. So this technology, you don't have to use this wire mesh because the concrete by itself is so strong, it doesn't need any wire mesh as crutches to hold it together, right? So we use this, you know, we just come and we just pour the concrete, that's it. Now, imagine, you know, on the site, Google is extremely worried about safety and health and safety issues. When you go on this Google job site, you have to sign, I don't know, 15 release forms, and you get training on the job site safety and whatever. They're really, really mad about it. And they said, look, you know, our job site safety issue, big thing is these wire mesh hanging everywhere, then people tripping over it. You have to cut it with a rotating disc machine. That's a very dangerous process because you can hurt yourself quite easily. It's a back-breaking labor to carry the mesh on. So even not looking at anything else, and we were wonderful also in terms of economics and quality, but they said, even just looking at the health and safety issue, we love this approach. We like you guys, you know, we want that you build. It's a huge facility. It's 8 hectares of data center server space.
Okay, well, thank you very much.